And Formula One is just one of the many types of cars and series where our special guest has experience. Max Papis has traveled the world many times over. He first raced in Formula One before switching over to Indy cars, where he scored 3 victories. He was also successful in sports cars, winning several races, including the 24 Hours at Daytona. Eventually, he made his way to NASCAR, first as a racer, competing in all 3 National Touring Series. There you see him with Martin Truex, and then as a mentor and coach to some of the sport's up-and-coming stars. We want to welcome the pride of Como, Italy, Max Papis, to the show. And you thought that region was just known as the vacation home of George Clooney. Not so fast. Max, I know the guys are going to ask you racing questions in a bit, so I want to talk a little bit more about you. Anyone who knows you are energetic, emotional. Have you always been like that, even as a kid?
I would definitely say that, being myself has always been a good thing. And I think I learned it out of my mom. She's a very energetic lady, and I can be a tough guy, but I say, I prefer to give love.
That's impressive. That's an impressive resume, though. I mean, the list of cars that you have driven. When so you have a guy that has really grown up in NASCAR, another guy that's grown up in NASCAR. I respect the ability to go from one car to another. What makes the transition the most difficult, to go from Formula One to IndyCar to stock car? I mean, you've always been known as a road course expert, but you've had a lot of success on the ovals as well.
Absolutely. First of all, I would say that, what really drove my career has been the love for the sport. I've always done what my heart told me to do. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I had a God gift, that helped me, through my career.
But I was going to say, because I love the sport, but I can't drive, so.
Unfortunately, I know a lot of guys like you. Yep, and, I just felt that, people can look at the things in a negative way and in a positive way. I had up and down, I had success in certain career, I had to rebuild myself in others. And I just enjoyed the fact that challenges. I like to push myself, and I feel that, obviously, as I say, I got the gift of being a race car driver. But I think I would have applied this, way of life in anything I would have done, no matter what. And I think that's what God and what my family gave me.
So now that even though you continue to race some, but what everyone knows you in the garage area for now is helping young drivers get that experience maybe that they need and help them further their career maybe in a quicker fashion. So where do you start with you see a young driver that has talent?
Yeah, I appreciate what you say. I feel that I'm welcome in the garage because, first of all, I'm myself, and I have really felt that I've been able to, engage and make people better, not in terms of speed, because speed is something that you cannot teach, but you can teach attitude, you can teach leadership, and I've been fortunate to work with a lot of people, from Joe Logano to Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon, and recently, my nowadays project is William Byron, like someone that I dearly love, and I hope to see him growing very quickly. And what you do with these guys is that a lot of times people think that you can teach speed. You can teach everything that takes to make that 2-3% difference, that when you go up against other guys in the Cup Series, that they maybe have the same talent that you have, you need that extra bit of difference that maybe comes from being at the shop a little bit more, train on your bike, that leadership that takes, to make a P10 car at times finishing P7, P8, right. And those points are what makes you a champion.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most misunderstood part, I think, of any racing is the fan wants to make it a video game. If you press the right buttons, you go fast. But you've had the unique ability to see my idols, which span all of motorsports, whether it's Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR, sports car, and those types of things that you have to instill in those younger generation drivers. Is it the same sort of success? You have stood at the top. You stood at the top of the podium. When you see one of your proteges or one of your students do that, does it fill the same sort of bucket?
I would have never thought that I would have had satisfaction to see someone else except me winning.
That's right. Spoken like a true race car driver. Yeah. I love that. That's true.
And I got satisfaction. I'm sure the satisfaction comes from the people that you get surrounded with, and the fact that when you're a real champion, you know how to give back. And the people I've been fortunate to work with, they knew that they were able to give back something to me even when they won. It was not just a selfish things. And as you mentioned before, when you reach a certain level in the sport, the difference at times is how much you are willing to put in.
Right.
And you see, like, greatest champion have one thing in common. Luck doesn't exist. It's hard work and preparation.
Right.
So when you get these young drivers, do you work more with their technique as you learn their driving styles, or is it more about getting their attitude right and getting the proper focus before you even get into what they do on the track?
That's a good question. What I work most is, figuring out what are the strengths, what are the weaknesses on the human side, and trying to improve communication. Try to improve, to make those bad days a little bit better. Because when it's a good day, everyone is good to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when it's a bad day, is what you need when you need to make the best out of it. And I think that would kind of summarize a little bit more. And obviously there is a lot of work outside the track. Physical training, mental training. We use every tool we can, from the go-kart track to the bicycle to lights and a lot of different things to make yourself better. All the things that help me. And at the end of the day, DJ, what I learned is this: at times you just want to have a shoulder you can lean on.
Yeah.
And at times, that's what you gotta be. For sure, I ain't a babysitter, but I am someone that love to give.
See, Kristen, and I'm not the only one on a bike. Max puts his guys on a bike.
I know, and I was just thinking, I have the same system here. When a light turns on, that's when I talk. So it's really very similar. Some people may not realize that your father-in-law, Emerson Fittipaldi, were holidays and get-togethers always just filled with racing?
Basically, yes. I have a nephew who's racing in Europe, Pietro Fittipaldi. The other nephew racing in Europe, Emerson Fittipaldi, just a couple of times Formula One world champion. And friends like this guy, so it's all about racing.